I have some ideas. I didn't want to leave this at homework is bad, homework sucks, everything like that. For teachers now, for you guys as pre-service teachers, I want you to know that there are some things that you can do, and I want you to know that I still think homework is important. I mean, I give you homework, don't I?
But it's relevant.
What homework am I giving you? So, one thing I tell teachers is, maybe just the homework is simply have them make the book. Now, if you have selected, and I have a problem with this too, honestly, because some textbooks are really worthless, but if you have a book that has some things in it that would be valuable, so the kid goes home, and in terms of reinforcing what's happening in class, maybe they should go home and read a book. Like I have you guys reading Making Sense, and I hope that what you're reading in Making Sense, I think it is, and what you're experiencing in class is connecting. And so I think in general, we could make that happen. Now not go home and read chapter 12. That's not it. But pick a selection that really connects to what was happening in class, so it does actually reinforce. And it's not some laborious thing, I gotta read 47 boring American history pages, you know? But I gotta read this section or a paragraph or something, and then do something the next day to hold them accountable for doing that. Give short assignments. You got, all of you have said that. I think you realize that thing. We don't have to make homework this, hours and hours of boring stuff. Keep it short. Now, if you've noticed, I'm doing this in all my classes now. Sometimes in this class, I'll say, all right, tomorrow, I want you to do this one thing. And in those learning moments, I'm not talking about your show you knows or those. I'm talking about just as we're learning place fire. There was days where I said, just do this one little thing and come back tomorrow. Keep it short, so we're not practicing bad habits. By keeping homework assignments short, students know that they have time to dig deep and make sense of the ideas. Rather than spending hours on 50 problems, I want them to spend maybe, I wouldn't do hours, but maybe 30 minutes thinking really hard and deep about one thing. Instead of spending an hour memorizing procedures, students may spend an hour working to make sense of a couple of problems. Give longer assignments when practicing procedures, but only when students have made sense of underlying ideas. At some point, do you want your students to know their times tables? But when they're ready. When they're ready, then you can kind of increase the amount and make sure that they're practicing good things, and you can give longer assignments at times. But it shouldn't be an all-the-time thing. It should be an occasional thing where they can practice well. But also, assign challenging exercises. Don't do any stupid word search puzzles. Homework assignments can be challenging. Like in my case, I use the show you know assignments. Supposedly, my thinking, the show you know assignments are a little bit more challenging to provide you the opportunity to write, explain, describe, explore, right? Find or create other homework assignments designed to challenge the strongest students. Here's another thing. You got 30 kids in your class. Are they all doing the same thing? We can't treat the class like a class. We have to look, and sometimes if you got a really smart Johnny, you got to give Johnny something that's going to challenge him. My Matthew, word search puzzle, you're not going to do that. He's kind of the rebellious type. He's like, even though he could have done it in 4 minutes, he's not going to do it. It's stupid. So Matthew needed something that was going to challenge him. Exercises assigned to some students and not to others based on the student's current mathematical understanding and learning needs. And I know that's what makes this job so hard, is you got to come up with individual assignments. They call it differentiated instruction. Have you hit that one in your education classes yet? And I know. I don't even always do it because it's so hard to know. How do I give you, all your own thing? But we need to at least be conscious of that. Be flexible and assign due dates. Homework assignments may take time to complete, like the show you knows or the friends and families. I try to give you plenty of time to get those things done. The purpose of the assignment is to have students develop convincing arguments, like a show you know, or well-articulated explanations. Allow additional time for students to produce their best work. Most homework, though, what is it? Tomorrow. Rarely have I seen, well, here's the one time I've seen with my kids, the build a diorama thing. Which I can't tell you how much I hate these people.
I built 2 of them.
Yeah, because exactly, who builds the stupid thing? Well, in my house, it's my wife. Because I'm like, I don't do that. I just don't. Anyway, those are the more long-term projects, and they're a joke, I guess. But anyway, for example, in a chapter, make it real project. Maybe some kind of a project that gets kids involved in digging deep and applying and synthesizing and doing all those higher level kinds of thinking things. Collect data in a math class. And you may have to give them a week or more to get these things done. I don't see much of that, though, to be honest. I say, you don't have to grade the homework assignments. Now, I don't throw them in the garbage, Cammie. But you don't have to grade them. Homework assignments do not need to be graded. That's one thing with my thinking over my 24 years. Man, just being bogged down in grading a bazillion papers every day. Oh my gosh, that's the worst part of the job. So I've learned, you don't have to grade anything. Research has shown that homework in the best classrooms is not checked, it is shared. I've really tried. I don't know if you've noticed in this case, but I try to come to class and say, all right, you guys were doing the base 7 thing. I want you to share what you were thinking with each other. That's what good homework should be about. In fact, some educators argue that the grade homework is especially destructive because this tells students that the point of the exercise isn't to help them to learn, it's to evaluate them on whether they've already succeeded. We were talking about it back here. If you just have to go the next day and they grade the homework, pass the paper to the person behind you, and grade the homework. It wasn't about a learning experience, it was about do you already understand? But at the moment of homework, they're probably still learning. Consider having students present homework problems on the board, or give them credit for just, regardless of the accuracy, give them credit for trying. And that's that one level of homework I have for you guys. Just show me, did you do it? Check, 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 check. Assign homework to be done as a group. Not all homework has to be individual. A lot of you guys have shared in your writings. I appreciate that your service learning classrooms are turning math into an isolated individual thing. And I think you should have math. Some of math can be done in a group. You can have, how do you assess the homework then? It doesn't have to be formal. You can have classroom conversations. You can collect and grade sometimes. I'm not saying never do it. But make sure you're strategic in what you're doing and why you're doing it. Get them on the board. Kids love going to the whiteboard and writing on the whiteboard. And sometimes you just want to check for effort. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. You just want them to go try. Then you assess the teacher and see where they're at. And so there are all kinds of things. But the bottom line is this. The bottom line is this. Keep this in mind. We should all, I'm putting words in your mouth, I know, but I believe in them strongly, so I will. We should all want to help students become more enthusiastic and proficient learners. We should all want to help students become persistent problem solvers and improve their mathematical reasoning. And will the homework we assign help to accomplish this goal? So as you become teachers, as I think about my homework assignments, I'm thinking about these things. And I don't know, who knows if you're actually accomplishing it, but that's the guiding principle. All right, I'm never talking about homework again. Just give it in. Thank you for bearing